Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, calling him La, Adonai Yahweh, Bashim Shamalak Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash, the honor to the Apostle Elsewhere, Millstone, Peace, Citation, Hope for Elect, Shalom. And here you can see in the title of this article, it says, former OnlyFans top earner says she had sex more times than she showered in 2022. So this is about 9 days ago. There's other articles about this as well. It says, a former OnlyFans model who spent time as the platform's top earner when she was making $100,000 a month creating content is grabbing the internet's attention for a much different reason. She sent out a tweet recapping her 2022, and one thing on her list stands out: the fact that she only took 37 showers the entire year. She goes by the name Yasharahla, and she hasn't posted anything on her OnlyFans since October 27, 2021. The bio for the page reads in all caps, and quote, currently on hiatus. She claims on her website to have gone on hiatus because her attention, in quote, attention span ran out. Former OnlyFans model says she only showered 37 times in 2022. It's fucking disgusting. These days, aside from barely showering, she says she's in quote, working on my research institute for sexual fetishes. According to a few tweets Yasharahla shared on New Year's Eve, showering is not high on her list of activities in 2022. Showering doesn't even crack her top 10. She says she tracked all the activities on an app called Dailyo, and that things like having sex, crying, and gaming were higher priorities for her than showering last year. Yasharahla 37 showers ranked 13th on her list, wedged between having a good meal and traveling. That's hard to believe, but that's what her list says. So this is on his Twitter post. It says, my 2022 in stats image is my good each day, and some hashtag how many times I underscore this year. Went outside 222, pooped 194, socialized 165, worked 137, took Adderall 126, drank alcohol 118 times, danced 64 times, had sex 63 times, cried 59 times, wrote 51 times, gained 44 times, had a good meal 42 times, and showered 37 times. And I don't know what that one slash stands for, but at the end of the but it says so what's up with not showering, and how does one still manage to have almost twice as much sex as they do showers? According to Yasharahla, it's all about her skin's microbiome. She replied, yep, I try not to disturb my natural skin microbiome too much. If I shower too often, I seem to stink more. To a question about her showering habits, bidets and spot washing are good enough for Yasharahla. As for the sex, she's not a complete maniac. She used a bidet on a regular basis and stayed fresh by spot washing. I regularly use a bidet and spot wash my armpits and genitals, though. In quotation. This is a woman who also claims to have spent a year getting addicted to LSD, which do your thing, but that had to have crossed a few wires. There's no amount of spot washing known to man that will get me through an entire year on under 40 showers. It's just not going to happen. Blame my skin's microbiome or whatever, but I feel like I'm a triple digit guy when it comes to showering. Yeah, so that's pretty much about it. It just mostly shows the pictures and stuff. But other than that, I'll bring out some scriptures, and Lord willing, your full will be edified. So it's one of the curses on Isaiah chapter 3, but this curse is mostly going towards, talking about the Israelite woman. And I don't know if that woman could be a scattered Israelite, or that doesn't have the original looks, or if she could just be a an Edomite woman. But whatever the case is, you know, she's a filthy, dirty, nasty woman, I'll say. And she's a real low class, dirty dog for even having a whole article mentioning how uh, she just doesn't shower as much times as she has sex, or that she had sex more times than she showered. And that's pretty much what it was. That that she had sex twice as much times as she ever showered, and it showed you that, you know, in the article, I think it said like she pooped more than she even showered. So, in her Twitter post, that's just really filthy. But it all goes back to the curses on. This is mainly the curses of the Israelite woman, but at the same time, it's pretty much mostly women in general, mainly here in America, I'll say, because they seem to fit a lot of the, the curses of smelling stink. But I'll get down to that part. I just want to get to this one first. It says, Isaiah chapter 3, verse 17, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. So, their secret parts, not really talking about their bald spots only, but, for the nation of our woman, of the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American woman, it's mostly talking about, as well, it's talking about how women have it to where they show their body off, and pretty much like they exploit their pictures. No, I was like, I'll say like they show off their pictures in a way to where other people pretty much like go on OnlyFans. They see on their Instagram how they expose their body and they sell their pictures. And that's pretty much what they do. And they'll be on these, let's say, OnlyFans alternative related sites, or these porno related sites, and they will pretty much like show off their whole body and just to the whole world and just do whatever, for clout. And pretty much that right there already shows you that these women are already revealing their secret parts, because their body's only supposed to be shown to one man, which is their husband. But a lot of times these women don't have that. They don't have a husband, and they've been divorced how many damn times for having all this amount of sex, because sex is marriage, and they have sex with all type of other guys, and then proving that they're just pump and dump, material, and that they're just nothing but a cum dumpster, in the end of the day. So, goes down to say this in verse 24, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. And instead of a girdle, a rent, instead of well set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. That burning instead of beauty is when they really hit the wall, after living an adulterous, whorish lifestyle, playing the harlot and going on a cock carousel. Eventually, you see somewhere down the line when they reach, let's say, sometimes it may hit them in their late 20s or maybe even early 30s, or maybe even late 30s or in their 40s. It will hit them to where they will end up, hitting the wall, because not a lot of women retain their beauty in their 40s, because there's a saying that goes that women age like milk and men age like fine wine. Because you could still see a man in his 40s and 50s, pulling, shorties, being a pickup artist around that time still. But as for women, like, you see that beauty declining and fading away, and it really depends on how much body counts that she has, because that affects her psychologically. Because when a woman, you best believe that saying that goes, when a good girl going bad, she can never go back, And when she goes as far as having multiple partners in her life, that affects her mentality, because every man's spirit that goes inside that woman, that's not really only their sperm, is dealing with other men's rod. That's their spirit going in her. When anyhow she gets penetrated by that rod, or she pretty much like comes into contact with it, it's spiritual. So that scripture going into saying that how you know a man shall leave his wife and cleave, a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave unto his wife, and they become one flesh, is spiritual. So imagine how much more when these women deal with multiple men, and she's has all type of DNA from all these different men, and she can never get that out of her. But pretty much the whole like part of the scripture saying that instead of sweet smell there shall be stink. That's one of the curses, mainly on the Israelite woman, but even just in general, women in America, because they don't know what it's like to be feminine, like, and clean. They don't know what it's like to be truly feminine, I'll say, because they have lost all their femininity because of, let's say, the way they lived their life and the way they were indoctrinated by the so-called white man to think that they're equal to men, to think that they deserve to have one man and one man deserves to have one woman his whole life. That's the Queen of Heaven spirit, and they were taught that their whole life, that they're above men, and that's another reason why they put them in these schools and put them in college to like indoctrinate them on that bullshit, so they end up losing their purpose as a woman, and they don't even know what their purpose really was. And then you tell them that their purpose in the Bible was to do cooking and cleaning, and that's supposed to go on to this day. They look at it and tell you that, oh, things changed, that was a long time ago. So they didn't denying that that's their true purpose of being a woman. But when you look into what you call the etymology as well, it tells you that a woman is a female servant, and they don't even know that. And these are the same women that go to college, that go to these let's say even these Ivy League schools. They get all these type of degrees, they get high GPAs. They don't even know what the hell a woman is really made for. They don't know the basic knowledge. You go to a different country though, and you still find that you have women that have their true femininity, where they know how to cook and serve their man, they know how to clean, they will rarely get angry at their man, they will be scared if they were to even feel like that towards their men, and so forth. And the list goes on how feminine they are in those other countries. But over here in America, you find a lot of stink, dirty women that feel like they don't need to take showers. And truly, they're not even supposed to take showers. They're supposed to bathe. Because when you have a vagina, you have a hole in your body like that needs to be cleansed out. Like, it needs to be pretty much properly cleansed. And they have to submerge themselves in the bathtub of water, right? And they need to give themselves a proper cleaning like that. They're not supposed to take showers. They're not like men. You see, it doesn't really take much to clean a man, but it takes a lot more to clean a woman, And the fact that you have periods like once a month, and the scriptures will say, oh, as a woman that has a period, she's supposed to be unclean for 7 days, dealing with her menstrual cycle. That alone shows you that she's a dirty motherfucker, and like a lot of these women are dirty. I bring out more precepts along, through the spirit. So in Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 of the book of Sirach, 25 verse 21, it says, "Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure." All right. So that's going on to say how you're not even supposed to look at these women and think to yourself that, oh, she looks pretty, so you know, I want to get to know her, get to deal with her, and eventually desire her for marriage, or you know, to really like have sex with her, and then you know and desiring to stay with her. You can't just look at a woman in America like that and desire them like that, because let's just say you gotta expect the worst when it's coming to dealing with Americanized women. You ain't gonna find women that are submissive and feminine. You're gonna find women that think that they don't need a man in America. You're gonna find a woman that, like this one, that can't even fucking bathe her properly, that can't even clean herself properly. Woman hardly showers, and you're not even supposed to shower as a woman. You're supposed to bathe. So that makes her twice as filthy compared to the average woman, you know. And she getting all this money and from OnlyFans, so she's really living it up and she's at ease. So she has the mind state of thinking that she really don't need a man. Then mind you, you got a lot of thirsty simps out there that still want to put their face between her legs. Considering that bitch has over triple digit body counts, I wouldn't be surprised, because she claimed that she had sex over 60 times that specific year. So there's another scripture I'll bring out. Let me see. Alright, so it says, Ecclesiasticus, or Book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 22. "And harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband." And that's another thing too, like when you, you know, pull down these women's, panties, like, I'm talking about these Americanized women. Just put that right there. Gotta categorize it. Majority of the times when you pull down their panties, you sniff. You already know, man. It smells like death. You wouldn't even have the idea of wanting to, inhale that, putting your nose near there. And that's pretty much how it is with these women. Because they feel as though they're equal to men, and they feel like they don't need to have the utmost hygiene when dealing with a man. And the reason why they feel like that is because they either feel equal or superior to men. And knowing that they have simps around the corner, they already have like a, let's just say, especially if they seem to be famous, like them having OnlyFans, they're pretty much like have a lot of like friends and followers on social media. They're already clouded up and they feel as though they have a good fan base, so they feel like they already got whatever they need to basically attract a lot of people in their life, like, which are obviously simps. So they feel like they don't really need to keep the utmost hygiene. And that's why this scripture says right here, verse 25, "A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord." Exactly. And the thing about these women is that they really don't have that fear for the Lord, I'm telling you, because if they did, they would clean up their ways and not act that type of way. And they wouldn't be so willing to be a whore if they were shamefaced. But these women have no shame in what they do. That's why they're counted as dogs. You know, and that's how filthy they are. They have to be compared to as a dog. You know. Yeah, but I know this is mostly talking about the strange woman, but when you apply it to a physical sense, it really could go into, the strange woman, meaning false philosophies. But I know this will also apply to like a physical sense, talking about how these women are, you know. So it says, let not thy heart decline to her ways, go not astray in her paths. For she have cast down many wounded, yet many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. Exactly. And, you know, damn well when you go down south trying to smell that pussy, it smells like death, straight up. When you're having sex with these women. And if it smells surprisingly good and sweet down there, then you better consider yourself lucky. But I still wouldn't want to, obviously, you know, put my mouth down there still, because obviously, like, when you fucking most of these women, then it's not like you fucking a virgin. So, and what you call it? That's another thing when it's coming to these women. It's like you never want to let your mind go towards their ways. You don't want to go astray in her paths, because these women don't really know what it's like to be righteous. They don't know what it's like to follow the right way, especially the fact that they have it to where they've mostly been raised by a single mother, or even if they had a father in their life, the house was ruled by a woman, and the father has to be very lenient. He can't be what you call it, as, let's say, he has to basically lower his authority or so and have the mother to basically be the one to rule the house in a way, a lot of the times, because of this feminism and how most women want to go for a matriarchy than going for a patriarchy, for the sake of calling a patriarchy, toxic masculinity. you know that's pretty much what happens when you live in a country that's ruled, and mostly ran by women, and ran by the so-called white man, who puts women in authority, which he allows for a gynarchy. 1044, call on y'all. And you see in book of Esther chapter 2 verse 12, and it's the stuff that we could expect and look forward to in the kingdom, because it's definitely not gonna happen on this side, with no damn Americanized woman. I'll tell you that for a fact. It says, now when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus, I think that was Xerxes, if I'm not mistaken. It says, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the woman, for so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odor, which is OURS, and with other things for the purifying of the woman. Then thus came every maiden unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the woman unto the king's house. And basically what's that saying right there is that women back then in the ancient times, like, were dealing with a man that, especially, that was in authority, like a king or whatever. But women in general, I'll say, like, they had better sense of hygiene. They took hygiene to another level. You know, they would clean themselves properly. They would bathe in essential oils. You know, they'll perfect their beauty. You see, nowadays when it's coming to women, the only time they ever try to perfect their beauty, and they don't even use the natural things. They just use this makeup bullshit. They use all this cologne, all this perfumes and uh, all the type of other fragrances that, they use all these, like, let's just say artificial, like, uh cosmetics to pretty much like make themselves look beautiful. And a lot of times when they go to sleep or whatever, and they wake up and it's like she don't even look as beautiful as she did when you picked her up, you know, from the bar. So that's the only time they ever look pretty, is like when they go into certain events or so. They go to a bar, wearing so much makeup, looking like um a fake ass doll, and then they end up looking horrible when you see them without the makeup. These women back then in the ancient times, like, they were actually women, like, and they were prepared to meet their man, you know, and a lot of the times, like, when you're dealing with someone that's in power, of course, in that sense, you know, he ain't gonna want to be dealing with no, let's just say, no type of scum, you know. You're gonna want to deal with women who are super clean, virgin women that was groomed and raised to serve a man, and to particularly serve that man, you know. Pretty much like in that movie Coming to America, where you see Eddie Murphy, and there was a woman that his father had for him, and he said, like, he wanted to arrange the marriage for him, and this idiot decided to go to a different country to get going to America to go pick up some used up ass woman, you know, that was already Americanized, because he feel like he want a woman that could think for herself and shit like that, which is completely going off. So, he what you call it, the woman that he was about to get, she did literally everything that he told her to do, anything that seemed to please him. And she said that she was raised and groomed to serve him, that she was pretty much born for it. And that's the type of woman that we're going to get in the kingdom. Woman that's going to pretty much be bathing and smelling good, perfecting their beauty before they meet a man. That's real femininity, Nowadays, it's like you can't even find that with these, modern day women. That's why they're no good. And that's why, you shouldn't really go out there trying to seek women like that, especially in this country, in America, because these women ain't it. They're not even really truly women, because they don't know their purpose. But with that, hope it made us edifying, that to give all glory, praise, honor to Adonai Yahweh, Bashim Shamalak Yahshua, Bashim Kakadash, the honors to the apostle and Elsgate Millstone, peace that teacher for life, Yahweh Shabbat Shah, Shalak Rayam, Alawam, Wakawayam, Abba, Shalom.